what's up? This is Jess.
Yo, what up? This is Kales.
And this is The Lover's Guidance.
It's too late to find out. You know that you mine now. It's too late to find out. You know that you mine now. It's too late to find out.
So today we're back with another video. And today we're going to talk about arguments. What is an argument? So an argument is basically a debate between two people that is going too far. What we like to discuss is the source to everything, because once you get the source to everything, then you have the power to choose if you want to participate in these energies or not. At the source of an argument, you need to know that this is happening within self. Before you come to a person with an argument, you have already felt some type of dissatisfaction with the way this person is receiving your presence or your energy or whatever you want to discuss or share. So basically, this is a desire for that necessity.
Yeah.
That this is a desire for that necessity within you to be met. When we come to that stage, we feel like someone isn't hearing us out. It turns into an explosion, and then we feel like we have to overprove our point. This is like your cup running over. This is like you pouring too much water into your cup and it overflowing. And so that's where the emotions come from.
Yeah, because water is emotions.
Yes. And that's so since we correlate the water with the emotions, that's where the argument stems from, is this cup running over into not really even having to deal with the other person, but with you.
But then, yeah, you're like Kel mentioned, your desires that the other person may not even know about.
So we always refer back to self, and what can we do to identify these things on early so we can catch them upon, the next cycle of argument, because they come in cycles. So it's like we want to catch them early on.
What are some ways that we can catch an argument before it even stems? I feel like one of the key things is to be aware of the fact that you're always manifesting throughout the day. We're going to probably always mention this in our videos, but you want to be in tune with your feelings. You want to be in tune with how you feel and your desires, because your feelings are indicators of the desires not being met within yourself, like Kel mentioned earlier. So 9 times out of 10, that's where the argument is coming from. Like Kel said, it has nothing to do with the other person. So if you are not feeling satisfied within yourself, an argument is just the manifestation of that discord and that frustration within you. So it's going to play out in your external reality. That's how things play out. Frustrations can play out in a number of ways. It don't even have to be an argument. You could get in the car and somebody can make you mad on the road. You know what I'm saying? That it can manifest in a number of ways. With
the manifestation of it, feelings build substance. And we talked about substance on our Space War video and how substance manifests. So if feeling builds substance, you have to know that everything is a percentage. And with giving a certain amount of percentage to a certain area of life, too much of anything is bad. And so if you're constantly building frustration, even over time, you're not delegating how you feel, then that plays out as arguments. Now, where I see a lot of people make mistakes is making how the other person feels about them. And that leads to a lot of arguments as well, because we just become attached to others' emotions. And our channel is about detachment and self-elevation. Even if you detaching from how this person feels seems like the scary thing to do at the moment. And that person might need space, and that person might not know how to tell you that. So with recognizing that, you want to be aware of, the percentage a person is giving you, because we can always feel the moods of others before, that argument happened. We always know. And the more you're together and the more that you can't come together and communicate, you're doing nothing but putting more emotional substance in that area of life, because you're constantly saying, I don't like this. Internally, you're constantly noting things like you don't like, but eventually, like Jess said, that'll manifest externally.
just going back to making it about, a self thing, you want to be sure that your desires aren't getting the best of you, throughout your days, and truly understanding what desires are.
Yeah.
Like we mentioned in previous videos, detaching from the object of the desire, what you attach to a desire as far as like how you want something to look or be, and getting in touch with the feeling of that desire. The last video was about cycles, identifying them and knowing how to manage and things like that. An argument can be a part of a cycle. So really you can learn ways to manage arguments by going back to our video about cycles, basically. Because arguments are a part, like I mentioned, arguments are a part of a cycle. So you kind of handle it the same way, especially if you find yourself having the same argument like over and over.
That's not a coincidence at all, for sure.
Yeah, it's definitely a part of a cycle that you're in.
You ever find yourself having the same argument in a different way and no one in that argument wants to acknowledge that? Well, if you are noticing that, then you're the smart one. So you need to take responsibility and say, okay, this argument is a cycle. So I see it coming over and over again, and it's trying to teach me something. Take everything as a learning lesson. Because even if you do find yourself in an argument, you're, like we said in the cycle video, you're building substance. You're building a certain knowledge and wisdom. And you're not going to overcome that argument unless you gain enough knowledge and wisdom to know how to delegate through it. Whether that's sensing the feeling before it come and just going in your own space and leaving, whatever you got to do, because like Jess said, when it comes to desire, that's usually a person, place, or thing. Now, a thing could be a thought, a thing could be an emotion that you want to feel. Oh, this person isn't giving me this. Oh, this person isn't doing this. But you have to understand that's a desire that you want. And I'm not saying that you can't have what you want, but you have to learn discernment between desires and what you actually need. The
lesson that's there, that's being presented right in front of you for you to learn, as opposed to you fighting back because of a desire. And just going back to what was mentioned before, as far as like one person feeling like they have something to prove to the other, that can be identified as a desire. But just to go a little bit deeper into that, if you're right, it's like what they say, like if you're right about something, there's no need to argue.
What you gotta prove?
There's no need to argue about it. There's no need to prove your point. I feel like being able, I feel like a sign of maturity is being able to agree to disagree sometimes. You know what I'm saying? Like, and not be upset or not be, not be upset at the other person for their own opinion or belief. Unconditional love is about accepting someone for who they are, regardless. Right. You know what I'm saying? Now, if that is something that... Now, I'm not saying take abuse. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not saying take any type of abuse or anything. Right. What I'm saying is loving yourself, having that unconditional love for yourself enough to walk away from a situation when it's hurting you, or walk away from an argument if it's making you upset. Right. You know what I'm saying? So
that's
it's like
self-love.
Yeah, it's about having that. It's definitely about having that self-love, because you're not going to willingly participate in something that's hurting you. You know what I'm saying? So that's the same thing with arguments. They may not be looked at like that in the moment, but then you find yourself sitting and like, man, like, those words hurt me, or the way that how that person acted towards me hurt me.
And then you end up acting in ways that you don't want to towards the other person too.
Yeah, but then it's like at the end of the day, like we said, it's you. You know what I'm saying? It's ultimately you creating that experience. Yeah. So I feel like what Kel was saying, as far as like discerning or whatever, that's a really big word in our lives. Like just discernment, and discernment is just being able to identify what's taking place in your life, being able to discern whether or not this argument is worth or not. say if you don't even know if it's going to be an argument or not, being able to discern whether you should even indulge initially in a rebuttal, you know what I'm saying, and any type of response, because like Kel said, sometimes an argument can kind of just come out of nowhere, you know, but you want to catch them early on, you know, and just, that's what I was about to say, being able to discern what's taking place in your life is a key thing
of spirituality
and just transforming your external reality.
Absolutely.
So
awareness.
You know, you have to do something different to get different results. Another key thing is faith. You have to have faith in yourself. You have to have faith in things are going to get better.
Yeah.
You know, if you don't, look how far you've come. You know what I'm saying? I know you've made it through a lot of shit that you didn't think you probably can make it through. You know, so never let your current circumstance get you so down and out to a point where, you know, you don't know where you're gonna go next.
Yeah. And I want to add to that, because also, you know, faith deals with Mars, the planet Mars. And Mars is also passion, faith, goals, hatred, force. You know, so you can also look at your houses and see what house you got. You know, Mars in, you know what I'm saying? Because that's where that energy will come from for the most part. But another important thing that I wanted to mention is that you have to understand, when you argue with someone and you feel like you have to prove your point to them, you're essentially letting that person hold power over you. You're saying that this person has to know I'm right. You know what I'm saying? You need a sense of validation from them or something like that. You know, so you want to be self-validated. You don't want anyone to have to validate what you have to say or how you feel. And you should know how you feel is right. Now, arguments usually come from when you don't know if you're right or not. If you don't have to, like Jess said, if you know you're right, then you don't have to prove anything to anyone.
Yeah, I love that point, because it really speaks to just empowerment, like self-empowerment, you know, really understanding, really, like I mentioned before, like really understanding you're an alchemist, you're a magician, you know, look at, you know, just reflect on your life a little bit and like take into account, because I know you probably didn't overcame things, or, you know, then worked your magic and got through things that you know what I'm saying? So it's like, don't take that for granted. You know what I'm saying? Understand that you did that. You know, understand that was your power. So and I'm saying that to the point of, if you find yourself in a situation where it's just like, you don't know what to do type of thing. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, the other person not getting your point, or the other person not seeing how you feel. It's not about it's not about them having to see how you feel, or them, you know, seeing whatever you want them to see. You know what I'm saying? It's about you moving in a certain way where it's going to X that shit out. It's going to push it out. I'm telling you, like, your external reality will change. And I'm only speaking from experience. You know, like, I don't argue with people no more. You know what I'm saying? Even if that don't mean people try to come to me and argue. That don't mean I'm not getting that. You know, that just means, you know, but I am seeing it less. Like, I don't really get that because I don't even put my focus and attention. I just let people say what they want to say, and, you know, and let it be that. It's no point in arguing. You feel how you feel. And I understand that we're all unique in ourselves, and no two people are the exact same. That's another thing. No two people are the exact same. You never know how someone is truly feeling all the time. So we all have our unique feelings and viewpoints on things. So when you truly understand that, there's no point in combating someone else's personal opinions or feelings. That's something they have to deal with. You know, so you want to be able to stabilize yourself, to have your peace. You know what I'm saying? Don't let anybody take you out your element. Shout out Kendrick Lamar.
You know, you want to delegate. You want to catch yourself. You know, even sometimes I slip up, you know, and I say, okay, am Am I getting too emotionally invested in it? You can feel your emotions. You know what I'm saying? You can feel like the tension in the room when it starts, and you see the area directed. And sometimes, arguments happen off of basic misunderstanding. You know what I'm saying? So they can come off of basic misunderstanding. So, it's all about, if you can't find an agreement, because arguments are a disagreement. You know what I'm saying? If we can't talk and discuss and we can't come to agreement, it's just agreeing to disagree. And it's about me caring about how I feel and just nurturing that, and knowing that that's valid and, that's right. You know what I'm saying? I can feel the way I want to feel. Now, just be mindful that whatever you feel that you're valid about, and that whatever you stand in, you're going to have to deal with that energy. You know what I'm saying? So don't just be, just saying I'm valid and I'm right just because, you want to be petty. But if you really feel that from, your soul, and you're doing the righteous thing, and you're doing something that creates balance, then ultimately, only thing I've ever seen that comes from that is just, if the person don't see it now, they'll see it later. Things will balance out, and the universe proved to it, because you know what, you're building that internal substance, and the way that you stand on that, the substance that you take from that argument, it'll start manifesting around you through other people, places, and things to even show you that you were right. You know what I'm saying? And either that person that you're with is going to be a part of those manifestations, or they're going to slowly separate. So always, just always do that inner work and keep looking within for that confirmation. Always look within for the confirmation. Never look external. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Never look external.
And on an energy, well, all of this is on the energy level, but just like on some kind of giving you a picture, an argument is like friction. You know what I'm saying? So it's like two things rubbing against each other and creating this heat, and an explosion happens.
Right.
So that's why we mentioned earlier, just, some space is good.
Space, yeah, space.
Separate. You know what I'm saying? Separate, right. So you can be in a clearer space, a clearer mind, and you can think about how you really feel.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
And it might take a day or two.
Yeah, like how you feel,
right.
Not relating to someone else.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's another thing. I feel like, people want to attach too much.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But it's like you have to relate to yourself before you can relate, before you try to relate to,
right.
All these external things.
Right.
Find out how you truly feel about something, and then, listen to other people to get how they feel. It don't mean you have to agree. You may find out you actually do agree with some things, but if you don't, it's okay, because like I said, we're all unique to ourselves. So
y'all know the most toxic movie I ever seen is Baby Boy. I was watching that one day, with the perspective I have now, and I was just as a kid, and as growing up, you thought that was cool, Joey and Yvette arguing, then having makeup sex, and you gotta understand, this is programming, so this is what we know. You know what I'm saying? So we go back to those things real quick, or even just romanticism and romantic movies, we gotta figure this out right now, and
that's lostness. I'm sorry, that's lostness.
That's super lostness.
That's setting you up
for failure,
to be a statistic, because
you're not operating from a level of intelligence and emotional intelligence, and you're operating from a fucking film. You know what I'm saying? Emotional intelligence is learning your percentages and how far you can go into something explodes, and how much you can take. Everyone is different. You know what
that also is an example of? Indulging in your desires.
Yeah.
Indulging in your desires. And the tricky thing about that is, it's gonna feel good in a moment, because you're satisfying your human flesh.
Ooh. Arguing is satisfying your human flesh too, yeah.
It's super satisfying your human flesh. You don't know. That's the number. That's where you go wrong. You have to honor your spirit.
And now we about to get really spiritual on you niggas. You have to understand, your spirit is not the human flesh. This is something you use. This is something you created to experience something. So detaching from that human flesh is actually vibrating on a higher level, and letting your higher natures take control. You know what I'm saying? And how are we low vibrationally programmed? through food, through music, through fucking TV, all type of shit. So no, I said low vibration.
Yeah.
So we're low vibrationally programmed through food, through music, through TV, through films and
media in general, memes and Instagram and Twitter.
Being lazy and you know what I'm saying? Yeah, you might see a meme the day a future X saying, if I don't have this, then a nigga, you know what I'm saying? But and then you pick up that mentality. You know what I'm saying? You have to understand everything that you see, that you're paying attention to, reflects your spirit in a certain
area. Space.
So let me say that again. Everything you are paying attention to, your spirit has a relative point to that. So if I see a picture of hell and I get scared, that's where my spirit goes. You know what I'm saying? If I see a picture of heaven and I feel good, that's where my spirit goes. So once that image comes in you, you have a choice to accept that image and say, okay, this is how I feel about it. You know what I'm saying? And push it back out. Or you just accept it and say, okay, this is what it is. Mm-hmm. But you have to understand that image is something somebody, shot out from their being, you know what I'm saying? From their creation.
And like I mentioned before, all our videos kind of just come into one center. And it's like I said, that goes back to the desire thing or whatever. Of you just, kind of feeding that desire in the moment. But also karma. You know what I'm saying? Like, just because you brought up Future or whatever. But any celebrity for that matter, just because they are living their life a certain way and it looks okay because they got money and fame and people like them, you don't know their karma. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? You cannot follow in behind somebody just satisfying your human flesh. Well, I just want money and I just want
because it looks like the right thing to do.
Because he doing this and he got money and he living okay and he don't care. You don't know where Future or Beyonce or any of these celebrities are going when they die.
Yeah, or when they go home and how they feel and what turmoil they got to deal with. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, you always want to. Everything is you. You know why they are who they are because they are individual at the end of the day.
At the end of the day,
you want to be your own individual.
Yeah, you can't be the next.
We can look at people and use them for relativity. Like I said, every relative person puts you in a certain space. Definitely. You know what I'm saying? They might represent a certain level of success to you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and I'm not saying exactly. And I'm not saying I'm not saying anyone is negative or positive. Definitely, in a sense, study. You know what I'm saying? Like, different parts of them that may resonate with you, but don't let it stop there. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like Kel said, if he see a picture of hell and he's scared, his spirit is going to go there. Mm-hmm. So it's the same thing when you're looking at these celebrities or famous people. Mm-hmm. If you see them in a certain light, okay, take it that for what it is, but go into that. Figure out what that really means to you.
Right.
Figure out what them having money means, or
to you. Because it might not even be it might not even mean you need to have money per se. It might mean something else. You know what I'm saying? That's equally as successful.
That's equally as important.
You know what I'm saying?
To who you are and where you want to be. Yeah. And I hope I made that make sense because I don't know if I conveyed that properly, but I'm gonna let that stand where it is, and whoever get it. Yeah. But
some of this shit can't be explained. A lot of this shit is resonance. So we're trying to figure out the best words that we can use. Yeah. It's a lot of feelings that you can feel that you can't explain.
Yeah, and going back to that word discernment, you know what I'm saying? Like, if you find yourself studying these celebrities or using them as a reference, you have to be able to discern what's right to your spirit and what's not. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Or just in general being able to discern what's negative and what's positive. I'm not saying good or bad. I'm just saying negative or positive. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And if it work, okay. My favorite thing to say, if it work, okay. If it don't, then you know what I'm saying. But if you find yourself in a situation where you know, you're not feeling the way you want to feel, but you doing something somebody else is doing, you trying to figure out why you not getting what they got or whatever the case may be, that's not for you.
Yeah, arguments stem from that. Arguments stem from not being, you know, satisfied with yourself. And when you're in a place of, and when I said, like I said, everything you observe, so even if you're observing a feeling of dissatisfaction, guess where you're going? Guess where it's time you're spending? You're spending your time in the area of dissatisfaction. And that's going to create an aura depending on how much energy and time you get there. So you always want to create, you know, your reality. You know, you want to create your good. You know what I'm saying? It might not feel like it's working, but trust me, as an observer, it's working.
That's where that faith come in. That's where that faith in.
And this is all dealing with the, you know, the planet Mars, like right now. You know, the moon and Mars right now. You know, so we feeling this energy itself.
But yeah, so find healthy ways to express yourself, to express those desires that you may have in a healthy way. Because 9 times out of 10, if you are desiring something, that means you don't have it.
Absolutely.
And it's racking your brain, you know what I'm saying, pretty often, and you don't have it. So you have that unsettlement in your spirit. You have that, you know, instability in your spirit. And I feel, you know, like so you want to find ways to healthily satisfy those desires.
Yeah, because I feel like a bunch of people will watch this and be like, man, that's a lot of people desire things, and a lot of people have, you know, desire what they want. And yeah, desires are natural, you know what I'm saying?
But it's a difference from desires and your true heart's desires.
It's a difference.
A lot of people don't even know what their true heart desires.
Yeah.
So that's deep.
Yeah, and it's a difference between desires and getting sold something. Like, everything y'all want, y'all sold because someone else has it. You know what I'm saying? For the most part. You know
so is that even a real desire?
Is that even a real desire? Or is it, you know?
Or is someone just marketing something really well that make you want it?
And we all can want and have nice things. You know, that's natural. We all deserve that. And so that's when you need to go watch our video about manifesting what you deserve.
Because a desire, you have to really understand what it means to be deserving. You have to be in tune with the feeling of that. If I know I deserve something, I am not going to be upset about why it's not here yet. Right. And da-da-da-da. It's like what they say
that's
about
manifestation 101.
Right. It's like what they say about the little saying about the birds. You know what I'm saying? They wake up every day. They don't worry about what they're going to eat. The universe provides them with the worms or whatever in the ground. You know, like they get their food or whatever. Like, just think about that. Like, think about what it means to know you deserve something.
Yeah.
And how that makes you feel.
Yeah.
You know, like kids. You know what I'm saying? They know... They live in a deserving spirit, if you think about it.
Yeah.
You know, like, they know, okay, mommy gonna get up every morning, or daddy gonna get up every morning, daddy gonna feed me, they gonna get me together, we gonna have fun, I get to play all day.
They're totally right brain, to the point where they'll argue with you about what they deserve. But the thing is, you know, they have to develop that left brain. They have to develop, you know, thinking and logic and rationality a little more, but they're definitely totally right brain because they want what they want, you know what I'm saying?
And that's why they also can get over things pretty quickly, where you can redirect their energy. If they want something but you don't want them to have it, and then you kind of give them something else, they cool. So, you know what I'm saying?
Right. So, like she said, you know, think about how that feels, and if you're observing what it feels like to deserve, and your place of it deserving, think about where your spirit going. Right there in that space. And what is that doing? That's building substance. And that's how you manifest what you deserve. You know what I'm saying? So everybody that's arguing, you know what I'm saying, it's natural. It happens. You know what I'm saying? But the thing is to find the early signs of it and learn how to control your emotional bodies and your spiritual bodies to the point where you can start removing yourself from your external flesh and start moving your spirit around, you know what I'm saying, by, you know, what you're giving your attention to, you know. I also want to add this, you know, we do have demons out here. You know, we do have demons out here that want your attention and that come as tests. And when I say demons, don't think of it as like fucking monsters, or, you know what I'm saying? When I say demons, I'm talking about people that's lost in their desires. We do have spiritual tests that come to see how strong you are and how much you have expanded from that old state of being or that old place. You know what I'm saying? And that's the real work. This is the real work. This is what we're here to do. This is why we made the Lover's Guidance, because we ourselves are still doing spiritual work, and, you know, we want to share our journey with you. And so these are things that we learned along the way to, you know, to help ourselves, and hopefully they can be a light to others.
Yeah, and find ways to, if you feel, you know, sometimes a simple shower or bath, you know, can help just wash. You know, you can program just about anything, you know, you do on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah.
You know, so if you feel like, man, I've been around this energy all day, I've been in a bad mood all day or whatever, program your shower, you know, to wash all of that off of you. You know what I'm saying? And say, okay, I'm going to start anew. I'm not going to let just try for one day. Like, I'm not going to let anything get to me.
Even if you want to get one of these, and you say, okay, this crystal, and you want to meditate with this, and you say, okay, this crystal represents a calming space. Carry that crystal with you out the day. And
and that's the rose quartz. It's for the heart chakra.
And once you do that, you know what I'm saying, what you're doing is you're carrying that space with you. Like I said, everything you observe brings your spirit back to another space.
Yeah, use your imagination.
So that's how you do magic, and you program your crystals and you carry it with you, and I bet you your external reality will start shifting. I'm telling you, like, if you don't believe me, go to my Instagram page on Boss Baby Jess. I be getting sick. not the paid Instagram shout out, but I be getting synchronicities for real. Like, check some of my highlights out. Like, I get synchronicities, and I do that just to show, like, this shit is for real. Like, I'm not doing this. Like, it's the universe speaking to me. Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Absolutely. Be in tune with yourself and open to signs and messages. Absolutely. Because 9 times out of 10, you're right. You know, that intuition, that gut feeling, that's your spirit talking. That's what you need to listen to. Your core.
Your gut,
your sacral,
your solar plexus,
your solar plexus. That's that self-esteem, that self. You know what I'm saying? You wanna believe and strengthen that so much that it rises.
Yeah, because me and Jess been into it before, and we looked at the planets like, oh, this, that.
We would get into arguments, then we started like catching on. We like, damn, it's retrograde. Then we go back, damn, it was the last time we argued was a retrograde.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So once we caught on to that, that's when we started looking into, okay, what are retrogrades?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? What does this mean?
Yeah.
What are the planets? What do they represent? How are they affecting us? Because they are affecting you. This is not to try to get anybody into astrology. This is really just to bring awareness. You know what I'm saying? So you can know how you're being influenced and what's taking place. Because whether you want to acknowledge it or not, you're being influenced. You know, this is just not no Sagittarius, Capricorn, Aquarius. I'm like, no, this is not just no zodiac shit. You know what I'm saying? Don't stop being so gullible and stop being so naive to everything media push in your face, and actually discover, you know, research some shit for yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like, because I mean, this is kind of getting off topic, but so many people have so many things to say about spirituality and haven't even delved into it to even know what it really means. You know what I'm saying? Like, how can you have such a sound opinion on something when you haven't even experienced it or researched it or been even conscious, you know what I'm saying, even looked into the stuff to really have an understanding, an understanding of it. This shit is not for play. This is not a game. It's not just, you know, we not just some people just walking around thinking it's cool to study astrology and spirituality. No, this is real life. You know, so.
But fuck them, let them be lost, because I ain't gonna argue with you. You feel me? That's the basis of this video. You know what I'm saying? We not arguing with anybody. And when it comes to arguments, you know, the last thing I want to say, you know, this is a self-healing thing. You know, a lot of things might stem from past traumas. You know what I'm saying? You might have, you know, been hurt in the past, or you might, you know, place the responsibility of that hurt on another person to heal subconsciously. So this is about diving in and, you know, understanding your feelings. And, you know, it takes time and it takes real work. So if you really want to be an healthy and strong-minded person, this is how you do it. This is how you become an individual. You find ways to get, you know, right with self and take control of your life. Like Jess said, you know, it's about time that, you know, everyone that's really with this shit and that really resonates with this shit, you know, really step up and do this. You know, stop blaming other people for, you know, how you feel. You know what I'm saying? That has nothing to do with it.
Right.
And people can make you feel a certain way, but it's like I said, at the end of the day, yeah, that brings you to a certain space, but it's up to you to accept that feeling. And that takes spiritual strength to negate or to let that feeling pass and have your own opinion. And that's what being an individual
Kel bring up a very good point. You know what I'm saying? Like, stop blaming people for how you feel. What's right for you may not be the right thing for somebody else. And what you feel is wrong, that person may not have looked at it as wrong. Because guess what? We're all here to experience what we need to experience, to learn what we need to learn.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that's when that detachment come in or whatever. If someone did something to you and you felt that it was wrong, have the maturity, have the self-awareness to know, in the unconditional love, if you really love unconditionally, to, if you can't talk about it, just walk away quietly.
Right, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because that person had to go through that experience to learn whatever that person needs to learn along their journey.
Yeah.
Stop being so invested and so attached to other people's journey and focusing on your journey.
Yeah.
You know, like what, like, media tells you, stop taking what media tell you is wrong or whatever to do in a relationship or in life or something like that. No, that shit is bullshit. It's bullshit, period. You cannot tell someone how to experience and what they're supposed to experience on their journey, because what they have to learn and the way they have to learn it is separate from you.
It's their own way.
It's separate. Do not, but like Kel mentioned before, like, don't ever be the victim. I don't know if you mentioned that before, but don't ever be the victim to yourself or to someone else's situation.
Yeah. And I want to add to what you were saying, like, you know, it is good to go to a person and express how you felt about the situation. Yeah,
like I said, like, if you can talk to them.
But the thing is, you might not even really be attached to how you felt about that situation in that moment later down the line, because that might be something you need to discover. Why do you feel this way about this person's action? About
that specific thing that happened. You know, it may be something you have to transform in your mind. It may be a moral or a belief you have to detach from, you know, so that you can expand enough to gain the knowledge and the wisdom that you have to go
and experience the fullness and the self-love of yourself, because you're
not perfect. You know, like they say, you can't blame someone for, I mean, what they say, you can't someone for sinning differently. You know, a sin is a sin.
Yeah, don't come to the spirituality zone with that right and wrong shit and that good and evil shit. It ain't about that.
That's lostness.
It ain't about that. It's about experiences and what you need to experience.
Someone may view this as wrong. Guess what? Do I care? No.
Yeah.
No, that's wrong to you.
That's not. Yeah, and they could be right in their own valid world.
In their own little world.
You know,
but look, I'm not attached to right or wrong. I'm about wisdom.
So just live your life. Hey. Fuck. Let them do what they gonna do. Capo, shorty. Oh, shorty. This has been our video on arguments, and I'm Kels.
I'm Jess, and this is the Lover's Guidance. And we're out.
It's too late to find out. You know that you mine now. It's late to find out. You know that you might not. It's too late to find out.